Sometimes you got to be happy to be mad. It's like a right to actually be angry about something. Now, that sometimes can be called what? A hater. They just like being angry. There's somebody that's a troll. It's not what I'm talking about. We were given the opportunity. We have been afforded the chance to be angry about how the Cavs game went last night. Doesn't mean I'm not happy about this start. It doesn't mean that I don't love this team. It's not saying that I'm going to get on here and start ripping Darius Garland, right? But I'm angry. I wanted to win that game. And you had an electric third quarter. You went up against the best, and you stood toe-to-toe. I wanted the win. I wanted it so bad. I'm not into moral victories. I'm just not. And it doesn't mean that this hasn't been great for the Cavs and that they're not on their way to the playoffs and that we're not going to be maybe in the Eastern Conference Finals and see those Celtics guys again. But I'm angry. I wanted to win that basketball game last night. You had a look. Well, I'm going to say you had a look. They pulled away. You made it a little closer at the end. Fine. Jason Tatum was unconscious. Donovan Mitchell showing the hell up. You just needed some other guys. And I understand that people want to sit there and say, Matt, everything's all great, and you missed these guys, and you had to piece that together, missing three key rotational guys, and you still went toe-to-toe. Still not good enough for me. It's still not good enough for me when it comes to the Cavs. I've got my goals set higher. We got a lot of wine and gold to talk about this morning. Recapping, yes, unfortunately, their first loss of this season. None of our parlays hit a 16-leg, right? I will tell you. Of 16, we only missed 4. So you missed
25% of your legs.
That's, yeah. Do I get paid out for that?
Sounds a little bit worse when I put it that way.
It's not quite where I'm looking at on that, but still, we were on it. Plenty of Cavs to talk about this morning. Browns gearing up for tomorrow. This groundswell in JOK. I'm getting texts from people thinking that he's not going to play football again. Of course, Mary Kay had the reporting on that. We'll talk about the Browns, Myles Garrett's comments at TJ Watt. Almost said TJ Ward. TJ Watt comments towards him. We'll get to Noah Weiskopf a little bit later in the show this morning to recap that. We got the bracket, butt rock. Everybody I didn't get any tweets like, what is butt rock? I think everybody understood kind of what it was. 2 runaways so far. Groups 3 and 4 go tonight. We'll get to timeout, morning update. We got the Cavs right back in action tonight. We got it all for you. Wednesday edition right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Happy to have you alongside. Listen, no matter what, I am happy about this Cavs team. I don't want this lost. That I'm down on the Cavs or this season didn't mean anything because you couldn't win the big game. None of that. Plenty of reaction. 3 biggest things to take away from that game from CBS Sports. And Chris Mannix with a really great article this morning on SI talking about this Cavs team after that game last night. You can follow us on Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show. I'm at Matt Fontana 83. Ryan is at Ryan Tyler 33. We're up on Instagram and YouTube at Big Play. Check us out on Twitch if you so want to at Matt Fontana Show. Driven by our great friends at Fairway Ford, fairwayfordohio.com. Are you mad about that game last night? That's going to be our question. Are you mad about that game last night? And I understand I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater here. I'm not wishing away their 15-game win streak to start. And you didn't get blown out. Okay, there were times you were getting blown out, but that third quarter was electric. You got back into the game. I think my biggest takeaway, you fell into what the Celtics wanted to do, and we only shot 29 threes. They shot 41.
Which, by the way, is less than their average.
Right. But they shot it at a 54% clip. We were at 34. I mean, that's it. You want to look at the game right there, that's it. You kind of fell into their game a little bit. You took a Herculean effort from Donovan Mitchell, who still, again, was just 3 out of 11 from behind the arc. You had Evan Mobley show up, figured it was going to be a big game for him. Allen with the double-double. We'll get to Darius Garland. You want to look, they were missing Okoro. They were missing LeVert. They were missing Dinoy. What that game could have been different with those guys in there. What that game could have been if Max Strus was in there. Doesn't do anything for me. I'm angry this morning. I'm mad. I consider us one of the best teams in basketball. The Celtics maybe are the best team in basketball. I am so happy with this Cavs team to put me in a place where I'm angry after a game like that. I want to consider ourselves up. And again, nobody wakes up this morning and says the Cavs aren't one of the best teams in basketball. They'd be stupid. They are. But they have elevated my expectations. I wanted to win. Everybody wanted to win that game. So people are like, oh, man, that's all right. Gave him a best luck effort. No. Damn.
It's all right, dude. I don't have
I
any reason
know,
to be
it's
angry this
fine.
morning. I have zero reason to be angry this morning.
I am.
I wanted to win the
them
game, of course, but dude, you were in the Garden. You played the best team in basketball. I know we'd like it to be us, and maybe it is us. Obviously, we were out a lot of people. They were out Kristaps. Maybe that evens out. I don't know. But at the end of the day, dude, you got 36 points off your bench. Yes, one of your stars didn't show up. They shot 50% from three, 50% from the field, and they made 22 threes. You're going to lose a lot of games like that. If the Celtics can do that for a 7-game series, hats off to them. What are you going to do?
Right. And that's, you do look at, I don't knock Jason Tatum, but for all, how good, dude, wow.
Nah,
wow.
Nah, bro.
Wow.
No.
What?
I don't like him.
Why don't you like him?
He's dirty.
You dirty?
And he whines.
Can't deny that, though. You cannot deny that last night. That was really impressive from him. And you're right. You're not going to get that every single night and in a 7-game series. The only thing is that primer, Reflog with the great tweet, we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. And the primer for the rest of the season, the primer for the playoffs, that had that type of vibe last night, which was great. I just have higher, I can't, maybe it is because I'm angry right now and it's so new and raw, but I just can't buy into the moral victory thing. And it's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a good thing because I have such high expectations for this team.
It's not even a moral victory. Dude, you were down your two best defenders in Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade.
That
right?
Okoro
you're
there
down,
for me,
you're
that
down,
was a big one.
You're still missing what you're supposed to be, arguably your best three-point shooter. Now, whether he comes out and plays that way and Max Strus, that's to be determined. But when you're playing a team like the Celtics that shoot 53s a game, you're going to need Max Strus to step in and make 5 of his own.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
It sounds like I think the Cavs are terrible and are not going to make the playoffs or anything like that. That's not it. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not.
I try to tell myself it's not.
If anything, you could flip it and say a loss is not a bad thing.
No, and that's what you say. Sometimes a streak can be distracting. Sometimes you can do things that you're trying to keep that going. Like tonight, you're 13.5-point favorites against the Pelicans. You would feel opted towards, if Okoro can't go, if LeVert can't go, they're not going to play tonight. You get them some more rest, whatever. Cavs might come out really pissed off tonight and go in and just throttle the Pelicans. Fine. I get it. You're 15-1. You are 15-1. You are that good. And it was also a good basketball game. I say good, again, they went on runs. You just came out in the third quarter with a vengeance, and you put up points. And again, a positive to take out of it, you scored with them. When you really needed to, your scoring showed up. And you would say, what kind of let us down was defense. You're right. You were missing your best defender. You were missing the guy that you had to go put on Jason Tatum.
I'd say your best two defenders. Obviously, your two best defenders that aren't bigs.
Yeah, right. Outside of Mobley and Allen, you're talking LeVert Wade and
guys
Wade.
That could legitimately have a chance of keeping up with a superstar wing.
And the thing is, you got production from Ty Jerome as you've been getting. You got production from frickin' Craig Porter. Great, awesome.
Dude, 36 points off your bench and you only went 3 deep.
Yeah.
Niang, Craig Porter.
It felt like a playoff game.
And Ty Jerome. Awesome.
Are you mad after it? That's our question this morning. Let's answer that before we move on. I'm mad. I am.
Not in the slightest.
Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. All right. I want this team to be viewed that way. And the problem is, I'm going to pull a page out of Kevin's.
15-1.
I'm going to pull a page out of Kevin Stefanski's book. I shouldn't listen to the outside noise. I shouldn't be trying to chase what national people think or what the national audience think about the Cavs. I didn't need last night's win to prove to me that this team was good, right? I'm still all on board with that. But I want to win these games. I don't like the Celtics. I hate the Celtics. It's like tomorrow night. I hate the Steelers. No matter what situation that you would ever find yourself in, I don't want to lose to the Steelers, and I don't want to lose to the Celtics. That's it. And I'm sure Boston will be sitting there saying, oh, look at us. You know, we told you we were the best, and we told you we'd come out and beat them. It wasn't the butt whooping they thought it was going to be, and there are plenty of positives to take out of that game. I just didn't want to lose it. Just didn't want to lose. I'm upset we lost. You know, and that's, again, it comes back to we're in this position now. It's back to the LeBron years. There are regular season games that I don't want to lose. They're not all equal. They're not all the same. And that was an elevated one for me. And what does it mean for the rest of the season? Ryan, I'll jump to your side for a second. Not a lot. Okay? You're now 1-1 in the cup play, as is the Celtics. Your point differential is just fine. That last 2 points there that they got when they, as the buzzer rang to get it in there, all that can matter for the NBA Cup if you carry weight with that. It's good. I get it. I hate it.
I understand. I understand that. I understand what you're saying. It's not all equal. Of course, it's not. Like if you play Boston, if you play maybe not the Bucks this year, and especially not the 76ers this year. But yeah, you don't want to lose those games because they mean more to us. They don't mean more to the record. They don't mean more to the standings, really, when you think about it. It could have come down to a game. Could have come down to a tiebreaker. Yeah. What are you laughing at?
Oh, sorry. The Guardian Cap tweet.
Oh, yeah. You like that one.
So proud. There's a clip we sent out. He goes, Matt, your head bobbing is distracting. You do it so much, you're going to give yourself CTE. And then you, Ryan, this wasn't even my genius. It was you. I was like, I better order a Guardian cap. He tweeted back and he goes, you should look into that. All in good fun. Enjoy the show. Keep what you're doing. I said, hey, man, it's all fun. I appreciate it. I don't just to diverge for just a second, doing the video part of it. And I know people see me look this way a lot. That's because Ryan sits right there. So I look to make eye contact. Dude, I did radio for 13 years where nobody saw my head move.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm an animated person, if you can't tell. The one thing, my hands, I don't normally talk with my hands. Here I kind of do. So it's a little different for me on the TV side of things, so I appreciate that very much. But yes, there's nothing I can really do about my animation. I'm an energetic, enthusiastic type of person. It's kind of what it is. Darius Garland. All right. You know, he's been great. He's back to the form that you believe in. Do you worry about him in these big games? And it's easy to look at that game and say, if you just got a little bit more from him, we might be in a different boat. Now, last night was not about him. It was a Donovan Mitchell, I frankly think Evan Mobley game. I really thought those would be the two guys that you would have step up in that game. They did. But 0-6 from beyond the arc. And that is, again, to flip to your side of positivity, a learning experience to say, number one, Darius, these are what these games are like, okay? And now it's almost like last year, even in big games and even in the playoffs, Darius wasn't himself. He was not Darius Garland. And the rebuilding of Darius Garland has already begun. Last night is an important pillar of the rebuilding of Darius Garland. It's a big game, and we need you here to show up. Okay, it didn't happen, but you take a step forward of trying to get him back to an all-NBA type of level player like you know he can. But the second part, the understanding, we do need you. The understanding that Darius, if we're going to go where we want to go, and this is not, I'm not saying this all in a negative light, it's a building up of Darius. It's a confidence boost for him to say, we need you.
He knows that.
Yes. I'm sure he does, but last night is a great example of we're not going to go where we think we need to go without you. We need you. And it's just a regular season game. It's not the playoffs and all that. But there is a little negativity.
If he didn't know that, he wouldn't have taken 20-plus shots.
Right. And they kept feeding him. Sorry, hair in my mouth. They kept feeding him because Darius, really Donovan, is really good about that, of taking a step aside to understand we have to get him rolling, or I need him to start hitting some shots. That's why Donovan is such a great leader for this team. He's selfless in that mindset. And he's getting him the ball to say, you got to keep shooting. Eventually, one's going to go. I know it didn't. But you think one's going to go through. It'll lift everything up for you here, kind of take the lid off, and we'll get after it here. but that's an understanding that, yeah, we're not, again, Mobley showed up. I know they were missing 3 guys and all that, but it is just that Darius Garland is so key to what we're doing here. And I keep trying to go back because, like I said, I feel better than when I started the show. It was a regular season game. You gave max effort. You did everything that you could. You were down players, and you went toe-to-toe with probably the best team in the NBA. And also, they played a really good game. That was not the Celtics hanging around and got a win. They came out firing. They were at home. I would wonder how much that game would change when they do come to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. All that is a big part of it. Okay, message here. The NBA Cup has nothing to do with it for me. Somebody's like, oh, are you a little upset because the NBA Cup? Not at all. I'm sorry. I really don't care about the NBA Cup. The courts are a little distracting. How are your eyes? Just staring at that green for 3 hours.
I'm a fan.
I liked it. It was all right. You know where I stand on the Cavs one. But that's another conversation for another day. The NBA Cup really doesn't bother me. You know, I want these guys to make their money if they win, but it's also extra games on the schedule, all that kind of stuff. The fact that it was an NBA Cup game is like 10th on my list of the whole things from last night. But it was an elevated game. You showed up. You played well. It wasn't enough. We move forward. Try to get back on your wins. Listen, you're still in a great spot. You know, like outside of the Celtics, what do you have now? A 5-game lead? Yeah. At worst on the 2 seed. If you want to look at it just from the 2 seed standpoint, you have built yourself such an amazing lead. And now, again, maybe that the loss is off a little bit and the streak is over. I don't know if that changes anything. I really don't, because I didn't see the Cavs playing as a team that were chasing the streak. They were just playing their games and they were winning. But does it open it up that, yeah, they sat Donovan on Sunday. Great. Okay, you went last night. Who maybe sits tonight? The injuries that you're dealing with, all that kind of stuff factors in. Maybe it is a good thing the streak is over.
Dude, I mean, you were in the Garden with a target on your back. You got Boston's best shot. You were getting blown out. Your bench brought you back to life. You lost by 5, but you lost by 3 in the box score.
Yeah.
And one of your superstars went 3 for 21 and you lost by 3 points. Like, it's impossible for me to get upset. Donovan Mitchell was an absolute superstar. Now, I understand the concern because what we saw last year in the playoffs was the Donovan Mitchell show, and that's clearly not enough, as good as he is, right? You need guys to step up. You need Mobley. You need Allen. You need especially Darius Garland, as we've been saying. But I can't take away anything from that game and really be upset. Like, you stood toe-to-toe with Boston, who was an on night. And we talk about when Boston's on and they're shooting 40, usually 53s a game, and they're making 20+, the odds are stacked against you regardless.
Right, and that's where it sounds like me being angry is discrediting how good the Celtics are. You didn't lose to the Pelicans, right? You didn't lose to the Hornets.
And let's just say this. I mean, a couple calls go a different way. I know they were pretty bad for both teams. I mean, maybe I'm biased and felt a little bit more towards Boston.
Sure, yeah.
But maybe a couple things go different. I mean, that push off Niang could have been a flagrant on Tatum. I mean,
George Niang was one of my favorite parts about last night. To be honest, that was one of my favorite things.
I mean, he likes talking shit.
Oh, I love that. And it's a little different because he's in the rotation. Like, usually Tristan would be the guy to get in there, rough it up, or start talking smack. I like that from George Niang last night. And again, he had some big shots. Ty Jerome still playing well. Craig Porter insert. And that's the crazy thing. You did have to go to your 9th guy. You know, Craig Porter would not have played in that game last night had you had Okoro or LeVert or Wade. And that's the positive thing to wake up this morning. You did go toe-to-toe with the Celtics, missing 3 key rotational guys and the guy that would have been on Jason Tatum. You think Tatum would have gone off for what he did last night if Okoro would have been on? It was only 33. It felt like 53. But the fact he was 6 out of 10 from beyond the arc. When he hit that 3, and was it Niang that fell down?
That's what I'm talking about. When
then he turns. He just get out of here. Get out of here. I was like
shut up, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It builds the rivalry, doesn't it? Don't you hate losing to the Celtics?
I just don't like Jason Tatum. I think he's corny as hell.
I'll give you a little of that, sure. He plays for Boston. I don't like him. It's fine. And it, if anything, did very much build up to what? A rivalry. It felt like it. And you sent that message to them. We're not going anywhere, man. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. That's how it's going to go. I just wanted it to be so bad for last night. Are you bothered that the streak is over?
No, I don't care.
Yeah, me neither. That's one thing. That's all good. That streak was going to come to an end anyway. I don't think it was ever unjust pressure on these guys or they were thinking about it. I appreciated when they were in it and trying to fight for it. It didn't happen, and now it kind of maybe can be a little sense of relief, a little weight off the shoulders there. The streak being over doesn't bother me at all. It does not bother me at all. And it's in essence of the same question. Are you mad about how that game went last night? Overwhelming results early as what? No. And I understand that. And it's, again, coming off of the streak being done. Does that change things for Kenny Atkinson now? Does it change how he wants to rest guys? Because another great part about last night, Atkinson seems to be just such a wizard with this lineup.
He's a Cavalier.
I know.
You keep saying that.
He's not a magician either because he's not in Orlando. He's a savant.
There you go.
There we go. He's a savant when it comes to lineups and what he wants to put out. There's some defensive change. I watched the Cavs go to zone a little bit last night to try to slow down the Celtics. I love Kenny Atkinson's on it right now. He's in his bag right now. And you mentioned it with that bench production, even missing some important guys. That faith in the bench has not waned at all for him. He trusts those guys to get in there and make shots. And I will fully admit, I think last night, the Celtics pulled you down to the game they wanted to play. And you still kind of showed up. I wonder the next go around, or eventually, yes, when we meet them in the playoffs, how we're able to pull them down to our level. But it's the same thing. We like the pace. We like the ball movement. It was really, what would you say is the biggest factor last night of the game? Take out the guys that were injured. Mm-hmm. The 3-point shooting has got to be it, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, dude, anytime you make 20-plus threes, I would like to know the probability, like, if a team makes 20-plus threes, what their record is.
Sure, that's got to,
like 2010 or whatever.
Right.
Like, I would love to know that record because I got to imagine it's very, very high.
It's like in football. They always say you win the penalties and turnovers.
Merrill. I understand he only played like 19 minutes or whatever.
Right.
But like you had to go start Sam Merrill.
No, I get it. And that's probably where the Cavs sit here to pull out more positives. You had other guys step up in the big games. Wasn't necessarily Darius Garland, but I'm sure Sam Merrill feels good about himself today. Ty Jerome feels good about himself today.
I did want to
certainly.
I did want to ask you this, and there's no concrete answer on this. Just your thoughts though, because
I don't know why you said concrete. It made me think of a concrete mixer from East Coast Custard. You ever had one of those?
No.
Dude, you know East Coast Custard, right?
No.
What?
No.
You never been to East Coast Custard?
No.
Come on over to my neck of woods, buddy. I'll get you down. There's one right off down Lorraine. So they have custard. It's not ice cream, but it's custard. They call them concrete mixers. They're basically like blizzards, but you get they got cups that are like this big.
Interesting.
So good. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I don't know why my mind went to concrete mixer from East Coast Custard, but now I just want ice cream.
Are you hungry?
What's that?
Are you hungry?
I do say, are you pregnant?
Well, it's 2024. Men can get pregnant.
Know.
But what I was saying was, there's no concrete answer.
I really want pickles.
But I was wondering, like, I understand that getting Max Strus back, getting Dean Wade back, getting Isaac Okoro back, that's absolutely you can't put in words how big that would be for a matchup versus Celtics when you have a superstar wing you're going against.
Yep.
Like, how much is that way compared to the Celtics getting Kristaps back? Because Kristaps is they call him the unicorn, right? Yeah. I mean, as good as Al Horford was last night, I mean, we'll see. I hope the tread will fall off on the tires.
Put a 3 in for him. You didn't want him in there, but he
Kristaps come back. I mean, that's Al Horford times 2, right? That is better defense, as good as Al Horford was blocking Darius Garland. That's a better 3-point shooter, as good as Al Horford was shooting last night beyond the arc. Like, Kristaps is a problem.
Well, that's where the first thing that I thought of bringing that up is this. Porzingis brings offense back to them. LeVert, Okoro, and Dean Wade would bring a little defense back for us.
Yeah,
and that's the chess match.
But I just worry that Kristaps, be gassing Mobley and Jarrett.
See, but that's at least you got 2 of those guys.
Jarrett can't stretch.
He can't, but then you put Mobley on me, even if you got one guy in foul trouble.
I'm just saying what I saw from Kristaps in the postseason before he got hurt.
Yeah. But, let's call it for what it is. Darius Garland's a prime example. You don't know how he's going to come back off of this.
I guess.
And I'm not wishing ill will on him at any stretch of the imagination. You don't know how he's going to come out of this. Isn't he close to 30 by now?
Yeah, he's coming back.
He got plenty of time. He's not come back for a long time. I get it. Like, they're going to go slow with this. That's fine. And it's, you bring that up. The other just nagging thing on me with the Celtics is they ain't going to be the same team. This is literally going to be the last year for this Celtics team as it's currently constructed. They cannot pay the money that they keep paying and all that. So they're going all in to win another championship. So it's not that I sit there and say that it's a token. That's a prize at the end of this thing is if you just get out of this and it's not, when the Warriors lost Kevin Durant, it's all over. But I'm in the now. But yeah, when they get Porzingis back, we'll see. But I would say if there's any team that would give them fits with that, it would be us.
Well, certainly.
It would be us. And that's so far down the road. That's so far on what the Celtics might be different. And that's another big thing about last night. This game was on the 19th of November. Both of these teams are going to be dramatically different on the 19th of January and March and April when you get into the playoffs. They're going to be so different. And the Celtics, I think, are built a lot like the Cavs to persevere through some of these things. Yes, they are led by Jason Tatum. We are led by Donovan Mitchell. But you saw it probably on full blast last night, even with us missing guys, that they have complete teams. The Celtics probably are the best team in basketball because they are so complete.
Yes.
The Cavs are one of the best teams in basketball because we are so complete. And frankly, you look around the league, what are the teams that are struggling that you thought were going to be good? It's because they are incomplete. It's just Giannis in Milwaukee right now. It's frankly nobody in Philly. It's Tyrese Maxey bitching at Joel Embiid about showing up on time.
Good, bro.
I love that. Go ahead. Get Tyrese Maxey. I'm a big Tyrese Maxey fan.
Yeah, he's nice.
Get him out of there.
Yeah.
Deal with that. Get him out of there. He ain't going anywhere. I understand that.
It's
But
been
it's
a
like
long process.
what's that?
It's been a long process.
Nick Nurse about to get caught up in that process, buddy. About to get caught up in that process. I've always again, Kenny Atkinson has been great. I've been a big Nick Nurse fan. I would have liked him here, but again, Kenny Atkinson had a fantastic game last night as well. That's okay. Final thing on Atkinson. I brought this up too. Again, big games with the Knicks and the Warriors and all that kind of stuff. But probably the biggest game in Kenny Atkinson's career as the coach for the Cavs. There's still learning experience from him. I know, former head coach, and he was in Golden State and all that kind of stuff. But as far as grades for last night, Kenny Atkinson, A. I love that even in a big game like that, still trusting his bench and doing what the Cavs wanted to do. Even when you were down, even when it was tough to do, there's something that Kenny Atkinson has brought to this team. If you want to call it confidence, if you want to call it, I guess, culture, whatever you want to look at, what Kenny Atkinson has brought to this team, man, no matter what we say, I don't think it's enough. No matter what roses and what accolades you want to give Kenny Atkinson, I don't think it's enough of how much he has meant to this team. And just that, stable figure, I don't know what exactly want to describe it, but I don't mean to jump up JB about this kind of stuff, but I'm just going to say, in a big game like that, I didn't feel like we were getting out-coached. I felt like we had a coach for a big game like that. That feels so good to me. What?
That's shots.
Shots. Yeah, that shot or not.
Fired.
That was a shot. That was a shot. I felt that when Ty Lue was here. I felt like a coach that is meant for those kind of games. I felt that with Kenny Atkinson last night. I felt that really went a long way for him, probably his confidence. Listen, it's his first go around here too. And the building of the confidence of all the players, the same thing could be said for Kenny Atkinson. And last night is a prime example. You went toe-to-toe. I'm still mad that we didn't win. That's fine. But to sit there and say I did the right stuff. I know this works. You need a little, proof from time to time that what we do can work. And it is working for the Cavs last night. So again, want to update our Twitter question quick before we flip over to the Browns. Are you mad about that game last night between the Cavs and the Celtics?
90% say no.
Wow.
Josh, yes, but only because Garland's way off. Should have deferred to other guys. If Garland plays a mediocre game, they win.
That's true.
Mike, not really mad. Unmanned Cavs lost by 3 to the Celtics, who shot 57% from deep. Benjamin, only casual fans will be mad. Cavs lost by 3.
Listen to that.
Speak your truth. Yes and no. Actually, yes, because it's a winnable game. No, because the pressure is finally off. Team can take a deep breath.
That's a big part of it, too.
John, great effort by the Cavs. Fought back and played hard against the world champs. Off night by Darius, but all the greats have those, LeBron included. We are definitely title contenders.
Yeah, no, that coming out of that game, it probably gives you more confidence that you're a title contender. I don't say I look to that game for that. but it was the measuring stick. So I go over to CBS, okay? And they did 3 things coming out of the Cavs game last night. The 3 reasons the Cavs should feel optimistic following that game last night. I'll tell you what those 3 things are in just a second. But Fairway Ford, baby. You know the 3 things at Fairway Ford? Family owned and operated. The largest inventory you can find and amazing deals. Those are the 3 things when it comes to Fairway Ford. F-150 sale going on right now. They are stocked with vehicles right now at Fairway Ford. And I put myself in the situation, as a lot of us have, and I bought a car last year, and you sit down. And you sit there and you think, okay, going with the Ford brand. It's what I do. I drive an Explorer, Ford family. It is what it is. So we sit down and we go, okay, we got the kids, right? Explorer it is. 3rd row seating, which is great. We wanted the bench seat in the middle of it, right? Didn't want the captain's chairs. Wanted the bench seat, 2 seats in the back. Okay, circle that. All right, what colors am I looking for? All right, I need the 4-wheel drive. We got that. And you circle all these things and you try to build up what you want to do. Normally, you could just go online and you could build out that car, but you're looking for pre-owned. And you might be searching for that unicorn. Or on the other side of it, you do want that new vehicle. Here's where Fairway Ford comes in. Their vast inventory, all the cars that they have, you might go there and find something already on the lot that checks the boxes. I told you, we just missed our parlay. We had 14 out of 16 on the parlay. Maybe you got a 16-leg parlay for your car, and you go to Fairway Ford, and they got 15 out of the 16. And the one thing is like, you know what? Leather seats versus cloth, that's all right. No big deal. They might already have it there for you. And that comes back to, again, the most powerful thing about Fairway Ford is their inventory. They have it all for you. And they're willing to make deals. They like selling cars. Sometimes you go to dealerships, doesn't it feel like you're pulling teeth to try to get them to sell you a car? You're like, I'm here trying to buy a car from you. And they're pulling teeth on, well, this APR or this money here. It's because they don't want to let go of that vehicle. That's not Fairway Ford. They're confident in letting go of vehicles because they know they have more coming in. And Brian told me that from Fairway Ford. He goes, Matt, we like making deals so we can get new, fresh stuff on the lot over there at Fairway Ford. Canfield, a short drive from Cleveland, and it's worth it to, again, potentially save up to $12,000 off that new F-150. Rates as low as 1.9% APR potentially. They got it all for you. Go to fairwayfordohio.com. fairwayfordohio.com. They have a chat feature you can begin right there, or you could just browse their massive inventory. The pre-owned lot is stocked, but again, all the new vehicles there are incredible. F-150s, the Broncos, the Super Duties, the commercial vehicles, the Explorers, the Mustangs, the Broncos, the Raptors, the Rangers. It's all there at Fairway Ford. Tell them we sent you. They're going to take care of you. Over 20 years, family-owned and operated. Half of their sales staff there for over 15 years. You're dealing with good people, with good vehicles, good rates, and good prices. You can't go anywhere else. You just can't. They're not going to be beat there at Fairway Ford. Check them out. Please tell them we sent you with our friends at Fairway Ford. All right, 3 things the Cavs should feel optimistic about following that game last night. Brad Botkin of CBS Sports.
Okay.
Number 1. Scroll down here. Oh, wait.
Come on.
No, he started it weird.
Jeez.
I know. Okay. But this is not optimistic. Number 1, Cleveland's wings were clipped. Okoro, LeVert, and Wade.
Yeah, he's saying that's the good one. He's saying they're injured, and they only lost by 3, I bet.
Never mind that Okoro and LeVert are both making north of 44% of their threes. This is a matchup that required a stable perimeter defender to combat Boston's relentless three-point pressure.
I'm saying.
Okoro is a primary star scorer defender. That kind of size talks about Wade and LeVert, 6'9", 6'6". That potential could have stopped Boston's driving kick all night. Without these 3 wings, Cleveland's defensive lineups became very extreme with 2 bigs and 2 really small guards. Okay, so that's a bit like the positive is okay, you were injured. Okay. Number 2, the massive 3-point discrepancy between the Celtics and the Cavs. Boston routinely empties the clip from 3, taking over 50 and making over 19 per game. Both those marks led the league by a considerable amount. Cleveland losing the 3-point battle in Boston is not a surprise, but the margin by which they lost is the important factor. The Cavs make over 15 threes per game, but they only made 10 on Tuesday. Do the math, that's a 36-point three-point discrepancy between Boston's 66 points from three and Cleveland's 30. So I guess the positive is you just hit another 3 or 2, or you hit one from Darius Garland. He normally doesn't go for 6. We're talking about a different game.
Right.
Okay? And the final one is Darius Garland. He missed 18 of his 21 shots and all 6 from behind the arc. It would be irresponsible to suggest this was just a random bad game. Garland has feasted this year when he's been unguarded, which is not something he's going to be able to rely on against Boston. You saw the struggles came when he was contested strongly, putting up the shots. His floaters were squeezed and his three-point shots were contested. His space was minimal. That being said, Garland could have the entire state of Massachusetts, and it's not likely that he's going to go 3 of 21 and 0 of 6 from beyond the arc again. So I guess Brad's whole write-up here is you were injured, they had a solid three-point shooting night while you didn't, and you had an off night from Darius Garland, and I will agree with what you said, Ryan. We lost by 5.
Sounds like exactly what I said about 10 minutes ago.
So then you must have read Brad's article on CBS Sports this morning.
I'm actually his ghostwriter.
That's it. That's your pen name?
Yes.
Penmanship name?
Yep.
If you had to come up with a pen name, what would it be? I guess you kind of have one. You have a pseudonym for...
Yeah, but I would come up with something better than that.
Mine, if I had to create a burner account, which I don't have, Kirk Langstrom. You know who Kirk Langstrom is?
Yes, I know who
Man
Kirk
bat.
Langstrom is.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just always like that one. So if you ever find one on... Can I tell you an idea I had for a contest? Do you ever think this would go well? You know about Mystery Sound? You know we used to do Mystery Sound over at my prior stop?
No.
So we had the whole city engulfed in what we called the Mystery Sound, okay? So this was... Dude,
I see where this is going.
This was, I don't know, 6 years ago. Oh, dude, longer than that. It's 2024. Good God. Anyway, Riz came to Casey and he said, I need a contest because I'm sick of people Googling stuff. And Casey and I came up with an idea, the Mystery Sound. We would play a sound, and you had to guess what that sound was. We always had a buzzword. One was a rat, another one was a bat, one was the earth, all that kind of stuff. And it became such a, like, the entire city was talking about it because the prizes were good. One was like Cavs home opener tickets. Another one was like a $400, $500 grill. And people would come up to me and they go, what's the mystery? I can't tell you. It ruined the thing. So off of the Mystery Sound, this would have to be a long-running thing. I don't know if we'll have time here with it. If I created a Twitter account, didn't tell anybody what it was, and the first person to just DM that Twitter account wins a prize. It's like a hide-and-seek search on Twitter. It's one of the largest things in the world. True. The only bad part is random accounts would just be picking up DMs.
Right.
But then, as the contest would go on, we would just leak clues on where to find the account.
I'd have to see it in action.
Like, I imagine today.
No, I can imagine.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I just create.
Like your Leroy Bickerstaff.
That's it. Some random ass name. I would probably start. The first hint would be I would put my location as Cleveland, you know? And then DMs are open. I would probably have to create it now and then do it in a couple of months because people just search like, oh, this account was created on this day. This must be it.
Right.
Like, I have to send some tweets out to keep it like, you know, understanding, throw people off a little bit. I wouldn't put a picture on it, though. Or should we? That could be a little hint.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Put a little hint on it and figure it out. I've always had that idea. I have to come up with some, like, huge, massive prize for that. I don't know why we're talking prize and we can't even get the freaking grid done.
Yeah, we got to do that
We got to do that today. We'll do that today. We got to bump it up. Noah's going to join us at 10:30, so we got a lot of that coming up a little bit later. I don't know why I went off on that. I thought about that a little bit. So there's 3 things, all things that Ryan felt. Let's go over to Chris Mannix. He writes on SI this morning, Cavs measuring stick loss to the Celtics prove that they are real. Did you need that last night?
No.
Did you need it?
No.
Okay.
You're 15-0.
I tend to agree with you.
That's stupid.
The bigger thing for me was that you did go toe-to-toe with the Celtics. This was not a 15-point loss. And I know late in that game they pulled away. They were up by 9 with like a minute and a half to go or whatever it was. That's fine. He writes, Chris Mannix, not since LeBron wore a Cavs uniform has there been a true rivalry between the Celtics and the Cavs. But you know what? The Cavs have arrived. They are not last season's team. They're still developing a group of 20-somethings that relied way too much on Donovan Mitchell a year ago. Even in defeat in a frenetic, wildly entertaining game, Cavs serve notice. This team is for real. For what a game. It didn't look like it was going to be one. The Celticsed early. Canned 5 threes in the first quarter and 9 in the second quarter. They held the Cavs to just 43% shooting in the first half and 29% from beyond the arc in the first half. Darius Garland missing some gimmies, Evan Mobley bricking threes, and at halftime, one team looked like the defending champion, the other team looked like a second-round fodder. But then in the second half, they got to playing what they wanted. They used a quote from Kenny Atkinson. We started playing our style of ball. And you saw and felt that turn to what the Cavs wanted to do last night. Mitchell is still Mitchell, dynamic off the dribble from Chris Mannix. And he said, we had no doubt we were coming back in that game. Here's the other part, which I think is probably the most interesting from Chris. These Cavs are not developing. They are developed. Mobley is still a work in progress, but defensively, there's few rim protectors better. Garland had a tough night shooting, but his percentages this season are on career-high clips. 6 Cavs players are averaging at least 10 points game this season. The bench, top 5 in a few major statistical categories. That's an interesting line. The Cavs are no longer developing, they're developed. I'm sorry. That's going to drag me back into being angry again because I go, that's right. We're here now. You're right. I didn't need last night as some primer or some measuring stick game. I believe we are there. I believe we're back. And I'm going to be upset when we lose games. That's just how it's going to go. We're back. We are back. Is it different than the LeBron era? Absolutely. But we're back, man. We're in this. And it's not just about how bad the East is or who we beat up on our schedule. We're here. We have arrived. I expect guys to keep getting better and keep playing their way, but with no doubt in my mind, the Cavs are a top 5 team in the NBA. This isn't a work in progress anymore. This isn't Kenny Atkinson still getting his feet wet. This isn't, we're still trying to integrate this guy back into the offense. We're here. We're back. It's only 16 games into the season, but I feel pretty good in saying we're back. We're here. We're contenders again. And I think some people need to jump on board with that. I understand everybody's not angry this morning. Sure, fine. And I'm glad you're talking me off the ledge. But let's all jump back into we're back. And we're not going to be taken lightly. That arena is going to be full the rest of the season. This season is going to be a great ride, man. It's off to a fantastic start. This is awesome. But we're back with a frog.
Yes.
We're back with the frog. That's how that rolls. All right, great stuff with the Cavs. More coming up in hour 2 with that. Want to flip over to the Browns for a little bit. No Weiskopf coming up at 10:30 as well. So yesterday, the story, the headline, getting ready for tomorrow night, was Myles Garrett's comments about T.J. Watt. So Myles wins Defensive Player of the Year a year ago, and T.J. Watt sends some tweet, oh, nothing I'm not used to, sounds like he's crying, whatever. Myles was asked about it on, not the eve, because it was yesterday, but gearing up for tomorrow night. Here's Myles Garrett's response to T.J. Watt being upset that he won Defensive Player of the Year a year ago. Audio courtesy of the Browns.
I've never complained about the trophy not being in my house, and vice versa. He shouldn't be feeling 2 ways about like you're going to me. So Joker's gonna play the game. I don't play against TJ, doesn't play against me, but while we're playing to go out and do what we're supposed to, win the game and dominate on defense. But it's up for grabs this year, and we'll see the best man win.
That's it's not demonstrative, and it's not Myles calling him back out, But I thought when he said the word complaining, that's about the best a shot you're going to get from Myles Garrett over there at TJ Watt. And I get that this is a full game and it's the Browns and the Steelers and we hate them and they hate us and all that. But there is this rivalry between these two guys. There's no question of this generation of pass rushers. These two are two of the best. And I don't think TJ Watt's ever leaving Pittsburgh, and I don't think Myles Garrett's ever leaving Cleveland. There's a rivalry within the rivalry, and I love that. I'd be an idiot to sit here and say that I think TJ Watt is overrated. He's not. He's electric, but so is Myles Garrett. And if they want to add some of these little barbs to this, he's right. They're not going up against one another. He didn't say this. I'm going to say this. TJ Watt will probably have a little bit of an easier task at it tomorrow night. Although he lines up on the right a lot, so it's Jack Conklin. But still, I like that. I like a little spice added to it. And the Defensive Player of the Year award, these major awards in general, I should say, yes, there are years where somebody does something amazingly and there's some huge stat. The quarterback throws for this yards. There's this sack total. And it just knocks you over the head that this guy deserves to win this award. But I think there are times that award is given out for a culmination of a couple of years. And I'm going to call for what it is. I think Myles won it last year in part because of all the other things that he did in years prior. There wasn't a runaway. He was a part of it. The Browns made the playoffs. They were the best defense in football last year, and they gave him an award. It's almost like a lifetime achievement award. Sometimes there are guys that have individual years that stand on their own merit. It would have been a crime that Myles finished his career without one of those awards. Now he's got it. People say that about Jose Ramirez, right? It's going to be a crime if he finishes his career not being an MVP. Well, I'm here to tell you, he might not.
No, that's not happening.
I hope not. I hope he wins one, but it's going to be hard.
But does he deserve one?
But that's where I'm getting back to my point. Like, for a culmination of his career,
nope.
For everything that he has meant, you would say, yeah, probably. But you're right. I don't think he's ever going to win one. By the way, I should have saved this graphic. Somebody posted a graphic that I saw of the WAR averages of every position that have made the Hall of Fame. Jose's like, oh God, I think it was like 11 games.
Yeah.
Wins above replacement, like 11 wins short of what would be a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, no, he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
I think he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. But
that's not a question.
It's interesting. You know who was way off at third base? Bregman. Bregman was like 20 games behind Jose. I guess I really didn't compute that. But anyway, that's to digress. I think Myles winning that award last year was like a bit of a culmination of that. And I get it. TJ wants to be upset about that because he thinks he should win it every year. Fine. I could tell you, odds on, every year moving forward, I'll give you 5 guys that are probably going to win the MVP, 5 guys that will win Defensive Player of the Year. And I don't think that changes. Aiden Hutchinson got hurt. Micah Parsons got hurt. But who is it coming down to? Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. I'm not a big believer in Trey Hendrickson. You want to buy into Dexter Lawrence for a second, sure, fine. But it's probably going to be one of those guys.
So that's interesting. You think Myles deserves to be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation this year?
Yes, I do.
Interesting.
Now, he just put up what?
Interesting.
0.0, Mr. Blutarski.
Yeah, that's not the first time that happened.
That's not the first time that's happened. But is he not one of the best defenders in football?
I mean, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily
Then that puts him in the conversation. It's that simple for me.
Maybe not when you're in week 11. Maybe you could say that in the preseason. Not when you're in week 11 and your team's 2-8. You can't say that.
But again, it's an individual award, and I'm going to look at the individual. Myles Garrett's one of the best defenders in football.
Well, of course he is.
So he's in the conversation.
No.
Is he going to win it?
You could be in the conversation in the preseason, but you can't be in the conversation having a season like this. Not that he's been
You're
bad.
just looking at stats. That's my point. What do you
think they're doing? What do you think they're doing?
Wait. Well, because that was the knock on Myles last year. They go, he won it just from PFF stats or whatever. You start with the conversation. What did you say?
2-8.
What did you say?
Nobody on the Browns deserves an award. Nobody on the Browns deserves an award. Are you kidding me?
Fault.
Are you kidding me? Nobody on the Browns deserves an award.
2-8 has a lot to do with Myles Garrett.
It certainly doesn't have not anything to do with him.
What did you say about preseason? Say what you just said about preseason.
Yes, you can put Myles Garrett in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year every preseason because nothing in that season is played out, and the expectations for him are insurmountable compared to other people. But when you're in Week 11, it's way different.
Wait, I'm going to get there. Stop right there. What did you just say about preseason? Say it again. He is in the conversation. Yeah. What did you then just say earlier? He's having a good season. Okay. So then what would take him out of the conversation?
Your numbers aren't close to Trey Hendrickson's. TJ Watt's having a better year than you, and your team's 2-8. It's pretty simple.
NFL Defensive Player of the Year odds. The favorite is who?
Trey Hendrickson.
No.
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt is minus money.
Yeah, it's one of those two.
Myles Garrett shouldn't win Chris Jones.
Are you kidding me?
Dexter Lawrence, Will Anderson, Trey Anderson, Nick Bosa, Kirby Joseph, Xavier McKinney. They don't even have Myles Garrett on this list.
He's 2-8.
It's an individual award. I'm not saying he should win it.
It's not, but that's the thing. None of these awards are quote-unquote individual awards. An MVP's not winning when he's
by the way,
500 record.
I think that's free money, by the way. Your best bet is actually at FanDuel, minus 140 TJ Watt. Put some money on that. He's winning that award. There's no question. Yeah. And, he gets to walk into it tomorrow and see exactly what happens. I thought I like the bar back and forth. I'm not going to die on that hill. Myles Garrett shouldn't win the Defensive Player of the Year award. I'm just saying he should be in the conversation.
No.
He's going to be in the conversation every single year. That's fine. That's fine. He's good to go. He's injured, but he talked to the media. He's probably going to play tomorrow night, and we'll see. The question is, who's going to be our starting left tackle?
Jermaine Ifedi.
Garyon Christian back. Jed Will's back out of practice, man. You know what's starting to bother me? Is Jed going to practice today? Was the question to Kevin Stefanski yesterday. Quote, he's going to try. Gee, thanks. I appreciate the effort. Great. That's my new favorite thing. Hey, do you think Jed Wills is going to be on the Browns next year, Ryan? No, probably not. I don't know what they're going to do in that situation. Yeah. I'm trying to look up. All right, here's yesterday's practice report. Limited. Great. We'll figure all that out. DeJuan Jones had his surgery yesterday. Great news on that front. Hope everything goes well. To the other injury side of things, Mary Kay put out the article about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Okay. And the alarming part of it was that here's what she said. It's not that she's reporting Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is injured and he's never going to play again. It's just nobody has said he's for sure going to play again. And at this point, he's so early into his recovery. Like, you never know, right? You never actually know. But that's like, I'm going to try to read it through from this and say this. Just because they haven't said he's for sure returning doesn't also mean that he's for sure not going to come back. This was from Mary Kay got aggregate. I think she was on Pro Football Talk or whatever. She wrote for Cleveland.com. The Browns haven't said much since about the Owusu-Koramoah injury. He's placed on injury reserve for a minimum of 4 games, but is likely lost for the season. As it stands, no one has said if he'll be able to resume his NFL career, and at the very least, maybe have to go another extensive round of scans before he gets back on the field. She says that is some rather grim news. And we are in an era where you watch head injuries and neck injuries and all this other kind of stuff happening, where you sit there and you say, yeah, I would like some definitive answer that he's going to be able to return to his career. But I'm also not going to sound the 5, bell alarm here and just go, man, he's never coming back, all that. I don't know. It is an uneasy feeling about it, but I'm just going to have to dive into the positivity and say maybe no news is good news. And Kevin Stefanski was asked about it yesterday, and the only answer was, well, he's got 2 more games on IR. We'll update when it's appropriate. That's it. But he's doing well. That's what Kevin Stefanski said. He said he's doing well. Maybe that's a little... Guys, maybe that's a don't look behind, the man behind the curtain type stuff. Look over here, don't worry about it. But what a blow that could be. Yeah. What a blow that would be.
I mean, first and foremost, obviously, hoping the best for him.
His health, yes.
But
He's a young
yeah,
man,
I mean,
yeah.
but let's talk about it. The dire scenario, he does have to retire from football. I mean, you're an old, expensive team. You have very few cornerstones at this point. I mean, you're losing a young guy who had 5, 6, 7 years of football left. And
At a high level of what
at a
you
high
believe,
level
too. Yeah,
in a
yeah.
time where you can't afford losing any young talent. I mean, that's just the blow on top.
And it's the neck. It's the neck. It's the neck and the head. And that's the kind of stuff that crops up that can end a career. I got this text, and I want to be very clear on this yesterday, okay? And what I'm gonna bring up right now. This is extreme speculation, but it's something that I thought was provocative and just got me thinking a little bit. Do you think the Guardian cap had anything to do with it? Somebody asked me that. And he goes, that's extra weight on. I have no idea. Do we even know the exact play that he got hurt on?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I have no idea. Somebody brought that up, and I go, I don't know the answer. I really don't. And I know the Guardian cap is to protect concussions and that. My buddy Matt, shout out to Hertz Gardens. They're the best. My second real job in life. Maybe I need to go back to Hertz Gardens. He brought that up to me, and I was like, I never thought of it that way. I never really did. Like, I have no idea. It could have just been the angle that he got hit. That's more than anything on these neck injuries. Not so much the sheer impact. It's what angle did you get hit at. I hope he's all right. I hope it all goes well and he returns. Because, again, he is a pillar on this team. We need him. So I'm just going to buy into no news maybe is good news. All right, let's do this. Let's catch our break because we had a lot to cram in over the next half hour. We'll get to the morning update. We got to get to the grid. We'll try to sneak time up in because we have no Weiskopf coming up at 10:30. I want to ask about Jeremiah Usu-Koromoa. I want to get ready for this game tomorrow night. And I'm sure you're going to bring up the Joe Douglas firing with the Jets yesterday in the morning update. There's an impact on the Cleveland Browns in a couple of different ways. Not just that Phil Savage is there. But now, this Woody Johnson fallout with Aaron Rodgers. Oh, boy, how the turns have tabled. Or, what does Michael say in the office? Oh, the turntables now.
Yeah.
I'll give you a Browns angle on that. I'm going to give you that twist. No, it's not Aaron Rodgers coming to Cleveland. But I got your Browns angle on that. We'll do it when we return. Presented by our great friends at Fairway Ford. FairwayFordOhio.com. It is Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Stay with us.
The Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
I would like to see the Guardians re-sign Shane Bieber. I think he'd give them a franchise-friendly contract because his market value has diminished so much following the surgery. He's not going to be able to demand the kind of money on the free agent market that he would have before the injury. So I'd like to see us keep him, even if he's not ready to start the regular season. Be a couple of months in. I'd like to see us keep Matthew Boyd. Veteran presence. Did a fabulous job for us. Great pickup by Antonetti and Chernoff.
Welcome back, Fontana Show, right here on Big Play. Follow us on Twitter X at Matt Fontana Show. I'm at Matt Fontana 83. Ryan Tyler 33. YouTube and Instagram are up at Big Play Network, the Big Play app. Download that. You'll get Drennan, who's back in tonight. And with your thoughts on the Cavs. But we got all for you. Morning update, no wise cough in a half an hour. Grid, time up. You want to do like a little small Cavs parlay for tonight? Little small Cavs move? One leg, because we're back on the winning streak. We'll see how it goes. Cavs tonight as well. We got it all for you. Ryan, take it away. Morning update.
Alrighty, we'll start there with the Cleveland Cavaliers. All good things must come to an end eventually. Cavaliers suffered their first loss of the season in the Garden against the Boston Celtics, 120-117. Cleveland now 15-1 on the season. Boston improves to 12-3. Both clubs are 1-1 in the NBA Cup play this year, Matt.
Yeah, and that's where the point differential is still in the Cavs' favor a little bit for that. They have 2 more games to go in group play before they get on out. The NBA Cup does nothing for me last night. You had 2 giants. You had the 2 teams that are going to control the Eastern Conference. And right now, I frankly think stupid to bet anybody else except one of those 2 teams to come out of the East to go to the finals. Think about that. Isn't that nice? Like, we're back. We're here. And I think the 15-game streak was great. The fact you showed up against the Celtics, great. I'm still upset we lost the game, but consider yourself part of that. You want to slice it that way, Ryan? You got a 50-50 shot. I know there's a lot more that go on than that, and crazier things have happened. Right now, you are one of 2 teams that should be representing the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals coming up. You're in that conversation, which is great. Right now, there's a 5.5-game lead back to number 3 in the Orlando Magic. Yeah, the East has slowly started to try to turn around. Nobody else. There's going to be nobody else but us and the Celtics standing at the end of it. And I just hope we get that Eastern Conference Finals. Don't you want to see that again? Imagine if that was Game 1 last night. Wouldn't you be excited for Game 2 tomorrow night?
Yes. Then you could be mad.
What's that?
Then you could be mad.
Maybe. But maybe we have home court advantage in that. Maybe it would have been at home. It's fun to see. You got an off night from Garland. You were missing 3 key rotational guys. I understand. And that's probably what Kenny Atkinson woke up this morning and told his guys. I was proud of the effort. We played our game. We had some lulls, fought back into it, and we're going to get another crack at these guys. You get a lot more cracks at these guys throughout the season. But also, to now turn your attention, right? Because for weeks, for at least a week, I should say, you were focused on the streak and getting to the Boston game undefeated. You did those 2 things. It didn't go your way last night, but now what's your apple? What's the carrot on the string right now? I would have to say continuing to distance yourselves from these other teams in the East and maintain that number 1 seed. I want the new thing is, all right, streak over. We got through that Boston game. Guys, let's keep that number 1 seed. We are the number 1 team in the East. Let's get after it. Now, games like tonight, I think are going to be very telling. What does Kenny Atkinson do? I know it's going to be guys out. They're going to be missing anyway. But, does it change? Now that the streak's over, now that the Celtics game is over, what might change for the Cavs on how they approach rest or how they approach things? I guess here's my thing. Do they start working on some? Everything's going great right now. Do you try different rotations? They've had different rotations in there. It's like, now's maybe a time to work a little. Get in the lab. Get in the lab, work on some things here. Maybe now's that opportunity for the Cavs. Still in a great spot. I love this team. It's so much fun. They'll get back after it tonight.
Alrighty, well, the Week 13, 12-team college football playoff projections are here. No major changes, but as it stands, Oregon 1, Texas 2, Miami 3, Boise State 4.
Yeah, those damn conferences.
Ohio State 5,
Yep.
Penn State 6,
Yep.
Indiana 7.
Wow.
Big 10 there. Number 8 is Notre Dame, 9 Alabama, 10 Ole Miss, 11 Georgia, rounding it out, 12 those Mormons at BYU.
So I was reading this morning ESPN, and they did their confidence meters on some. ESPN very high that Georgia's going to be able to make it. They
needed a win last week.
They got that win over Tennessee, which was big for them.
My bet's still alive.
You're still kicking. But you're also staring it down that, almost 3/4 of that field are going to come from 2 conferences.
Yeah, but of course.
But that's how it's going to be. That's kind of how it's going to go. By the way, how much longer can Notre Dame hold out? Can they just please join the Big Ten? Was it Albert Breer maybe Brett McMurphy. Somebody brought this up about the individual conferences. How, they would go East and West, or they would divide it up. But how some of even these conferences need like an upper bracket and a lower bracket. Where it's like you need a little relegation maybe between these two schools or these two teams. Because like everybody was jumping, you bring in UCLA and USC, and it's like they're not all that good right now. Like, what's Notre Dame doing? They're still just kind of tooling around. But if they find themselves at 9, they can continue to make their schedule out to see the best fit. They'll slide back in because they're a TV draw. They want them in there. No real shocks on it. It'll get weeded out. I don't think the committee wants anything of Boise State and BYU making it. So ESPN. All right, let me go back to this article. Because they did their first 4 out, okay? So this is what they learned. Number 1, Georgia on stable ground, but most likely not a first-round home game. Okay, they'll be a low seed, but they'll still make it. The ACC is in a much better position than the Big 12. The last 2 in, Georgia, BYU. First 4 out, Tennessee, SMU, Colorado, and Clemson are the first 4 out. Here's what I thought. The committee would love to take Tennessee, Colorado, or Clemson over BYU. They'd frankly probably rather take them than Boise State. What they really need is Colorado. Oh, no, because then they're in the Big 12 now. Right. Because Boise State's in the Mountain West, right? Is that how that goes? It's just funny that the committee that tries to tell you that they're set up to be able to do what they want still really can't do what they want. No offense to BYU or Boise State. No, nobody want to see them in there.
Whoa, come on.
I like Jed. Come on, man. No, nobody wants to see that. That'd be a bloodletting. It'd be bad. But that's the way they set it up. Here we are.
Clipping that.
Yeah, fine. Dave, you might not even have a chance to play that clip back.
All right, well, Kent State fans, cover your ears. They did not make the top 12 in the college football playoff, believe it or not, Matt. But they did make a list. They did make a list this week. In fact, they made the worst 25 teams in FBS this year list. In fact, they were number 1.
How could they not
They're the worst team in the country. In fact, Matt, Kent State is on pace to be the first winless FBS team to allow 500 points since Kansas did so in 2015. Now you ask yourself, how is that possible? Well, let me tell you some of their stats. Total offense, 231 yards per game. That's 134th nationally. Scoring offense, 14.3 points per game. That's 131st nationally. Turnover margin, -10. That's 124th. Total defense, 134th. Scoring defense, 134th. Net punting, 108th. They are bad at football. It's over here. I know what you're thinking. Where is it? It's over there, I think. You want me to get it? Oh. It's over there. I wish you guys could see this right now. There it is. He's coming. He's coming. Do not come. Do not come. I said Kent State's really bad at football. No, that was a guy that was really good at football.
Do it. Do it. I don't know if Josh actually wants to do it. I think he does.
Oh, he does.
Do it.
He does.
David. Save the golden flash. Make the call. He can still do the show here at Big Play. I think they'd be fine with that. Talk to Ken and Dave about it. I'm going to do this segment for another minute to talk about Kent State. Do it. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? There is no better person to take that job to fix Kent State than Josh Cribbs. It is, and again, I don't want to lose him here at Big Play. Do his coach's show, Kent State coach's show with Josh Cribbs coming to Big Play. Do it. How could he not improve recruiting, which is the biggest thing, get some players in there, and fix that mess? If Josh wants to do it, which again, I think he does. The groundswell is happening.
It is.
Josh Cribbs.
The fans
Kent
are
State.
clamoring. The flashes are clamoring.
Do it. Fix it. Come on.
I didn't realize how bad they were.
They've not led.
Yeah.
not led all season.
And they got smacked by Akron yesterday, and Akron's bad too.
Yeah, right. They have nothing going for them. You need to step up and do something big. Here's your answer. Do it. Freaking do it.
I better get season tickets if that happens.
That's my other part of it. How many people would be involved with that?
Facts.
How many people would just like to go down to Dick's Stadium? I love that stadium.
Is that what it's called, Dick Stadium?
Yeah.
You love Dick?
Stadium in Kent State.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played there, by the way. Played playoff. Do it. Do it.
I'm all for it.
I mean, like, what other options do you have?
Yeah,
Let's talk through it real quick. Number one, brand recognition, which is important in college football.
Very much so.
You want to get the recognition. You want to get the recruits in. Josh Cribbs is your guy. You want a guy that has a lot of football experience. How about going from an undrafted free agent to a borderline Hall of Famer? All right? You need to do what in college, Ryan? Recruit your own area. Josh Cribbs is beloved in Cleveland.
Very true.
Some of these amazing athletes coming out of the Cleveland area, come on down to Kent State. It's that kind of stuff that, like, again, you see these small teams, these giant receivers. Think about remember when Northern Illinois was beating up, they just beat Notre Dame this year? That kind of stuff needs to happen. Josh Cribbs can do that. Who's the AD in Kent? Who do I got to call?
That's a great question.
Google that. Give me an email. Give me a phone number. Get it right now.
The Kent State AD is Randall L.
Randy!
Randall L. Richmond.
Randy, pick up the phone, Randy, I got to talk to you. He's your guy. He is your guy. I'll come coach special teams. I'll do a little tight end.
I would love to do that.
That'd be fun. Hire him. Do it.
We can start the campaign.
Oh, it's started. Oh, it's been started. We are just jumping on that.
I'll donate to it. $5. That'll go a long way.
That'll go a long way. The NIL fund?
Huh?
The NIL fund?
Yeah,
Get that going. We're working some NIL stuff here at Big Play. We'll be a part of that.
absolutely.
Do it.
Alrighty, lastly here for the morning update. Matt, you got to use your favorite meme in the world.
What?
Because the New York Jets, they fired general manager Joe Douglas after 5 seasons. This comes 6 weeks after they fired head coach Robert Saleh. Well, who did they replace him with? Phil Savage. Yes, we know him here in Cleveland. He was the Browns GM from 2005 to 2008. Matt, you got to use your favorite meme.
Yeah, I did. I love that. It's my favorite thing. I just do it when there's a Browns connection. Usually it's a lot of kickers and stuff like that. Savage, not long for that job. That's just an interim role. But now the Aaron Rodgers fallout. And this is really what I wanted to get into before we have no Weisskopf coming up here in a minute. All right. So now the Aaron Rodgers fallout is Woody Johnson doesn't want him anymore. And he wanted him benched after week 4 and all this other kind of stuff. Okay. And I looked this up for Rodgers because I saw somebody post something that the Browns are in a better situation than the Jets. And I could not disagree with that more. Okay. First off, Joe Douglas losing his job. Yeah, he missed on Mekhi Becton. He drafted Zach Wilson. He still got Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, and Garrett Wilson out of the same draft. That's okay, fine. Jermaine Johnson's a good player for them. I get all of it. Rodgers, contract, Ryan. The money that they owe him over the next couple of years, $21 million, $21 million, $14 million, $14 million. You can stop that conversation right there. Those are very easily swallowed dead cap numbers. Not 80 million like the Browns are dealing with Watson. So the debate about the Jets and the Browns, who's in a worse situation, the answer is the Browns, okay? Now, what do they do with Aaron Rodgers? Once this cat is out of the bag, that Woody Johnson doesn't want him there anymore, I think he's going to leave. The question is, what is Aaron Rodgers going to do? Gilberto Manzardo, SI.com. Aaron Rodgers' next potential destination.
Bruh.
We're going to run through all of them. You tell me if you
We're
can see
talking
it
about Aaron
or
Rodgers
not.
really going to another team.
So the number one thing would be what? Retirement, okay? They redid his deal. He's got a bag for next year. I think he's playing football next year. I do. I don't think it's with the Jets, but I think he's going to play football next year. So let's assume that. Okay, I understand the favorite is for him to retire. And he might. I don't know. Spend all his time doing ayahuasca. But here are the potential destinations. You tell me if you see it or not, okay?
I'm trying to think in my head right now what would be the best spot for him.
Well, I'll tell you the list. Here's Gilberto's list. So we start with a group of, so you're telling me there's a chance. This sounds like maybe a lower end one. Number 1, Pittsburgh.
I figured that was going to come up.
Yeah.
'Cause they don't owe any money.
Well, Wilson's not even on, he's a 1-year deal.
That's what I'm saying. They don't owe
So,
any
like,
money.
but again, I would assume they're just going to sign him to an extension and ride this out with Russell Wilson. No, and this is in no particular order. Number 2, the Seahawks. Potential similarity to the Steelers. Built team, ready to go to the playoffs. You just need a quarterback.
No.
And if Geno Smith ain't doing it for you anymore, you go to Aaron Rodgers.
That's ludicrous.
Okay. Number 3, the New York Giants.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be we don't want the next quarterback. It's not a restart. We're trying to keep Ryan Dable's job. Joe Schoen, the general manager, try to save his job? Maybe. The Las Vegas Raiders, which would just be so ironic about Devontae Adams leaving there to go to New York, and then Aaron ends up going to the Vegas Raiders. Could totally see that, right? Mark Davis is out there a little bit. It seems like a match made in heaven there. Teams looming quarterback dilemmas, but are poor fits for Aaron Rodgers. The LA Rams. And I want to talk about the quarterback list that I sent out yesterday. So obviously they have Matt Stafford. There is an out in his contract after this season where the Rams could walk away from him. Now that they got Puka and Cooper Kupp back, you see where it fits with Stafford. Here's what I think they're going to do, Stafford. Rework a deal, maybe a 2-year deal, little less money. They still go draft a quarterback, and then they let Stafford start next year. Next up, the Tennessee Titans. I think they're in a full rebuild. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would want to go there. The Indianapolis Colts. Would you really jettison Anthony Richardson to bring in Aaron Rodgers? The Carolina Panthers. Again, kind of stuck in the middle here. The New Orleans Saints, if they wanted to move on from Derek Carr. And the Cleveland Browns.
Nope.
Here's his write-up about the Browns when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. No. Rodgers playing with Kevin Stefanski would be fascinating to watch, but we can't assume that every veteran quarterback will do with Stefanski what Joe Flacco did last year. The Browns were lucky to get a scorching hot version of Flacco to make the postseason. And then there's the whole Deshaun Watson mess. Teams have to pay him. Wait, the team may have to play him again due to the guarantees and potential dead cap and perhaps the worst contract in NFL. Aaron Rodgers ain't coming to the Browns. But here's the second level to this whole story and the Browns twist that I was talking about. Woody Johnson, reportedly not being back in the Aaron Rodgers game here, throws another quarterback into the quarterback carousel. This is a ride that I have been on, that we have been on for the majority of the last 20 years since this team came back. It's a crappy ride, and you pay your quarter, and you get on a broken down horse, and you go up and down, and there's light bulbs off of it. There's vomit off to the side. I hate this ride. I hate this ride. I wish they would demolish it. But it's a ride that we keep getting on and going up and down and around again. It's the Browns quarterback carousel. Who's on the ride this year, Ryan? Number 1, Kirk Cousins. He gets out of Atlanta, potential. Number 2, Sam Darnold. If he leaves Minnesota, you got to add Jacoby Brissett. You got to add Justin Fields. But now you add Aaron Rodgers to the mix. He's going to leave New York under the guise that he is going to play football again. Here's your Browns twist. This is good. The more options you have. I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers comes here, but if he takes a job, let's just say he goes to New Orleans. All right, well, now Derek Carr's back available. Let's say he goes here. Like, with the Browns situation of, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. I think they're going to draft one, but you still need a starter for next year. What you want to have happen is the most amount of quarterbacks, viable quarterbacks, available. Basically, you want this to be a giant ball of mess. You want a lot of quarterbacks, and you want a lot of openings for everybody to be making moves, because then you can slide it and maybe pick up a quarterback that'll be your starter for next year. Now, your easy answer is what? Jameis Winston. You re-sign him. He comes back to be your bridge guy. That's nice, easy bow on top. Put it under the Christmas tree coming up next month. But I like a lot of movement. That's going to help the Cleveland Browns in this whole thing. So make no mistake. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is washed. And I don't want him in Cleveland. But if he wants to enter the pool and get on the carousel and move to some other team, now and also what? Now you're opening a job there with the Jets, right? Do they go get Sam Darnold, bring him back in there? I don't know. But the more quarterbacks in the pool and the more craziness that happens helps the Cleveland Browns with their quarterback situation. So that's good news for the Browns yesterday. That is really good news for the Browns yesterday. The only thing off that would be potential new GMs for the coach or for the Jets. A lot of names thrown out. Glenn Cook will probably be on that. He's the assistant GM.
And, Andrew Berry might be available.
Maybe that. I don't know. I don't know. But
big analytics guy.
I'm sure that goes over well in New York. I'm sure explaining analytics to Jets fans is really an easy thing for them to do.
Wow.
What? That's not a shot.
That is a shot.
I don't know.
You just call New Yorkers dumb.
I didn't say that. I just said it'd be hard to explain that to him.
All right,
speaking of hard,
how dumb we are.
Yeah, speaking of hard. What's our Ian? Hi.
That's you.
That's me. I love this shirt. The Blue Jays shirt. They're back in action.
Big win.
Yeah, they smoked. Boston fired their coach.
All right, we gotta go because Noah's coming up in 8 minutes.
All right, we'll be out 9 minutes to do it, so go.
All right, Jets 10 sacks. We can go cue ball.
Sure. Wait. Oh no, that's okay. Go ahead.
Shaq Barrett.
Sure.
Right? He had to have.
Yeah, but did he not go to Philly? Am I misremembering that? I can't come up. Oh,
I don't think so.
Who is the legacy pass rusher for the 49ers? Oh, Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp?
He had to have had 10, right?
If you say so.
Okay.
All right. Michael Strahan?
Yeah. Strahan. Good. All right, Jets.
Jamal Adams.
Oh, yeah, that works. I was actually going to say Leonard Floyd. I think that worked there, too, but I didn't think about Jamal Adams. You're right. Okay, good.
Bucks. Seahawks.
It's a quarterback. I know it is. Not Matt Flynn. Am I thinking Hasselbeck? I might be. I don't know. We can come back to that one.
All right. Giants, Seahawks.
Giants, Seahawks.
I
don't know why I keep thinking of running back here.
thinking a tight end.
Ahmad Bradshaw, no. Does Nick Van Ette work?
No idea.
I know he played in Seattle. Maybe. Not Devin Singletary. Tiki Barber. No.
We go to Eagles.
All right, let's think Eagles players. Does Deshaun Jackson work for any of those?
Yes.
Yeah, right there. Darren Sproles.
No. Jets, Eagles. It has to be a Mark Sanchez?
I think you're right.
Right?
I think you're right.
Or am I wrong?
I know he's on the Eagles. The question is, did he ever appear in a game for them?
Had to.
Okay.
Unless you can think of somebody else.
I mean, it's fine. I like it. Okay.
Saquon.
Correct. All right. Wait. Doesn't Geno Smith work for the Seahawks and the Giants?
Did he play in the Giants?
I think, yeah. Did he not?
He could have. I don't know. To rip it?
I think so, yeah.
Did he play for the
I
Giants?
think so. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. I thought so.
All right.
He actually would have worked Jets too, because that's where he got drafted, right? Perfect. All right. Bucks, Seattle. Let's go. Okay, Leonard Fournette, no.
I don't think there's a quarterback.
Jeff Garcia never went to Seattle. Josh Gordon never went to Tampa. Vincent Jackson, I don't think ever played in Seattle. Richard Sherman never played in Tampa, right? No. You want to think that too, because I thought the same thing, but that the 49ers, I think the color scheme gets us on
I
that.
almost think he did play for the Bucs, like his last year.
Didn't he? Because that was like when Brady was getting everybody together, right? Right? I'm thinking that too. I'll tell you this: if we don't get anything else, we got two. We'll do 2 more minutes. Here.
All right,
2 more minutes.
It sounds really right.
I think it sounds right too. Just want to rip it.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
All right, go for it. Nice. Didn't need to overthink it at all. Didn't need to overthink it at all.
Yeah, it was the most popular.
Richard Sherman, yeah. Shady McCoy.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. Well done. Well done. Geno Smith was most popular for 2 of those. There it is. All right, no Weiskopf coming up in a couple of minutes. I do want to ask him about this Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah situation, just kind of where he sits. But, Ryan, we didn't really talk about this too much.
You missed your Trent Dilfer pool you could have used, I guess.
Is that who I was thinking of, too? Who? Yeah, that would have. Yeah, Marshall.
And Mike said Trent Dilfer, too. Bucks, Hawks. Buccaneers, Seahawks.
That's maybe who I was thinking of. Not Brad Johnson or Hasselbeck. It might have been Trent Dilfer. Obviously, yeah.
You missed the opportunity to pull Dilfer out.
We'll keep him in the back pocket, buddy.
All right.
He's had a good career. He had multiple different teams. Good career there. Well done. Well done. Appreciate it. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about this even today or even yesterday. I want to ask Noah about it. The Kevin Stefanski comments of he's like, I'm not listening to the outside noise. I get concerned about that because that is like another step towards the coach getting fired, right? When you got to start asking questions about the job security and conversations that you've had and all that. It's just on this step down the path. And I want to say this because on Monday, we sent a clip out, and I was like, I think we have crossed the line of no return with Kevin Stefanski. I want to walk that back in the worst way, and I don't know if I can. I want to sit here and say that if it doesn't go well tomorrow night, that they'll have, to be able to work through this and all that. And I know there's some national reporting of people that feel like Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are both going to be back with the Cleveland Browns next year. Do you just, now that we're a couple days removed from that Saints game, which was just an abomination, we'll see what tomorrow night brings. I don't know, Ryan, do you feel any differently about the Stefanski job security? After hearing me, he's like, I don't, and I trust me, I believe him when I say, there are some guys you believe, you're like, no, you're listening to. I don't think he actually does, but he's got to understand the pressure that is on him. They haven't performed well, falls back on the head coach and all that. But do you feel any differently a couple days removed from that game now?
I just don't know that there's many coaches that can survive this whole debacle while having a record of projected 3 wins.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine Haslam stomaching that. Now, do I want that to happen? Of course I do. I've kind of come to terms with that's a more than likely possibility.
Right. And that's also one of the things you got to ask on how you fix it. You're only getting rid of Kevin Stefanski if you think that fixes problems. Now, inherently, moving on from a coach or GM also then what creates problems? You got to hire somebody and all that. It all comes back to that weighing, that scale, the scale of justice, if you will. Is this going to create more problems or more solutions for us?
Is that a Daredevil reference?
I just think of the halls of justice from Mad Max.
Okay.
I don't know. That's what I think of. You're probably right on Daredevil. I'm sure there's references to all that. But I also think, like, when you really dive back into it, they're going to ask that question of, is what we see with this team truly a product of Kevin Stefanski? Is this a problem that he has created? And I don't know the answer to that question. The Haslam's got to be leaning one way, And I think, like anybody, they're hoping that the team and Stefanski can meet him halfway. I'll tell you this, and I hate to say this, I was going to say this for tomorrow, but I'll give you a little preview of it right now. You beat the Steelers tomorrow night, Kevin Stefanski's job is safe. You beat him tomorrow night, his job is safe. However many wins you get, you got 2 division wins in that. It was looking bad. You've had different quarterbacks come in. I think you get that done. And the thing is, it's even the direct impact to Stefanski not calling plays anymore, but Jameis looked good last time. The offense looked fine. If the defense and the frickin' special teams can step up tomorrow night, it's going to be sloppy. It's going to be wet. It's going to be disgusting. Take the under tomorrow. You scrap out against a win against the Steelers, and I think Kevin Stefanski is safe.
A lot of people like sloppy and wet, I've heard.
I'm not going to go there. And I'm not going to start that with Noah Weiskopf this morning here on OBR. He joins us, Browns with Noah, Twitter and Instagram, as always, on Wednesdays. Noah, really appreciate your time. You heard me talking there about Kevin Stefanski. You think a win tomorrow night saves his job for next season?
See, it's hard to say because if they win tomorrow and then lose out, no, I don't think so. But, for the time being, yes, right? I mean, if he wins tomorrow, this theory of the Browns have fired however many of their past head coaches after a loss to the Steelers will not stand for this. I mean, for this game, he will not be fired if they win. That's for sure. And you know what? Honestly, do I think that there's a chance that if they get blown out that he gets fired after the game? Yes. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. And I would be shocked if they did it right after that game. But yeah, I mean, I think if they get a win and they get back in the win column, I think that would be big for this team, big for the players on this team, big for the locker room, especially against the Steelers right now who are rolling. So, yeah, I think that his job would be safe for the time being if they win tomorrow.
No, when you think about going into the game tomorrow, the questions are still left tackle. Jed Wills limited. Best guess, who's our starting left tackle tomorrow? That's not a good response. Like you said, you're like, Gary, Christian, dude, that's where we're at this point. It's not good.
I don't know if Christian will be ready for tomorrow. I wouldn't bank on him playing, especially on a short week.
Yeah.
I would say my best guess is Jed would be able to give it a go at left tackle. I think he was limited yesterday. We'll see with the status report potentially listed as questionable leading into the game. I would imagine that Jed is your starting left tackle tomorrow.
Noah Weiskopf joining us, OBR. We discussed the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah situation a little bit earlier, where Mary Kay sent out the kind of, I say reporting. I don't think she was being alarmist, but she was just saying, hey, nobody has come out and said that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is for sure going to continue his career with the neck injury. Noah, have you heard anything? And just kind of what is your vibe on this whole injury situation with JOK?
Yeah, well, the scary part of it was after the injury, some guys, I can't remember exactly who it was. Maybe it was Jordan Hicks or was it a coach? I can't remember. But one of those people sort of said, made some scary remarks of
it was Jordan Hicks.
Pull through. Was it Jordan Hicks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that sort of sounded the alarm off on a lot of things. And the fact that that was said and then we didn't hear anything after that, I think it sort of put everything into perspective a little bit. Maybe this is way more serious than we thought it was originally. But with Kevin Stefanski, sort of the first thing out of his mouth was that he's only got 2 more weeks on IR. That gave, I think, a lot of optimism to a lot of people. I've tried to do a little bit of digging on it and haven't really gotten much. I think it's, really being kept tight, especially for his sake of going through something like this. But yeah, the vibe now sort of to me feels like he's going to pull through and he's going to be fine and potentially could return later in the season. But I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of made that decision to just hold him out for the rest of this season, make sure he's okay. Because again, there's no real reason to rush someone back, especially a player of his caliber. He's part of the future of this team. So there's no real reason to rush him back and get him out there during this season.
No, when you think about the quarterback carousel, because we got the news, okay, the Jets move on from Joe Douglas. Woody Johnson doesn't want Aaron Rodgers anymore. And I'm not saying he's a fit at all here in Cleveland, but we discussed a lot with Jack Duffin, your peer over there at OBR, about Kirk Cousins. Darnold might be available. Jameis still there. Justin Fields probably going to be out of Pittsburgh. Just right now, your vibe, and I know this changes week to week. It's a loaded question, but what do you think the Browns are going to do at quarterback? What do you think their best offseason move is, whether Watson's here or not? Just what do you think the game plan is right now for the quarterbacks?
So there's really 3 options. It's draft a quarterback with your first round pick. It's find a bridge quarterback, whether that's one of those guys you mentioned, or keep Jameis around. And then the third option is roll Deshaun back out there. I can't confidently say which of those 3 options will happen. To me, again, I think I've mentioned it on the show, but like the rest of the season's huge for Jameis. Like you're showing what you've got. You're showing if you have the potential to be sort of that bridge quarterback for a team. If the Browns elect to go that route, then you're sort of trying out to get that spot next year. A guy maybe like Sam Darnold, would that make sense? Of course. Like Kirk Cousins, his familiarity with Kevin, yes, that would make sense. But I don't think that, first of all, it's not a given that Kirk will be available
Right.
From the Falcons. And second of all, like a Sam Darnold, I can't imagine that the Vikings want to part ways or rush to part ways with him. I know that they still have JJ McCarthy in the wings, but I can't imagine they want to get rid of him after what he's led them. I mean, he's leading them to, as of now, at the start of the season, he was an MVP candidate. He was playing so well. So I don't think that the Vikings will be quick to jump away from Darnold. But yeah, like I said, one of those three options. It depends really where they pick in the draft. If they want to go quarterback, if they end up with the first or second pick, I think you're talking a lot different than if they're at like 4 or 5. I don't know if any of those quarterbacks are like they're going to be in love with. I know really it comes down to Shadur Sanders and Cam Ward as sort of your top 2 guys. Outside of that, it's really not a great class. I know there's some guys with potential. I think Jalen Milroe would be a good NFL quarterback, but I don't know necessarily where he'll be picked. So yeah, I think that if I had to guess right now, a bridge quarterback would be my best guess, and Deshaun is still on the roster. But again, that changes week to week because right now, after a game that Jameis had, even though they ended up getting blown out, he threw for almost 400 yards, no interceptions, 2 touchdowns. So if he continues games like that and puts multiple of those together, then maybe you're like, yeah, Jameis could be this bridge quarterback, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, the Browns they're an interesting spot with the roster that they have, and whether they want to restart with the rookie quarterback or sort of bridge quarterback to take them to where they want to go. But they're not one quarterback away from being a contender.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing, too. Noah Weiskopf joining us from the OBR Browns with Noah, Twitter, and Instagram. I think you do both that, right? You could still go draft your guy and say, hey, Jameis is our starter, and maybe do the Drake May type thing. We'll sit him out for half the year, maybe the whole year. And it does go back to what you said, too, Noah, about that game. Jameis Winston was fine. That was a winning performance from Jameis Winston. I know he had a dropped interception, and that could have changed things as well. My only thing on Jameis that I did want to see over this stretch was how much the interceptions bothered Kevin Stefanski. Because if we know one thing about Stefanski, he hates turnovers. That was a big point of him with Baker, and Jameis is a guy that throws a lot of interceptions. That was always one thing, Noah, I was going to keep my eye on, is that if Stefanski can maybe kind of bridge that gap or close that gap where he hates interceptions, so you would instantly think, well, Jameis Winston's not a good quarterback for you then, but maybe he can play well enough that it works out for them and that he can be the guy for next year.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Joe Flacco, too, as like, that's sort of just what you had to do, and I guess we haven't seen like where Kevin necessarily has to make that decision. I think it'll be the first time this offseason of like one of those quarterbacks or something else. So one of those guys that can throw 400 yards like a Joe Flacco or a Jameis Winston, but you're also going to get the picks with it as well. Or a guy that's less proven in that sense that you still would rather have just because of their decision making. But yeah, I mean, you see the success that like Joe Flacco had in Cleveland. You've seen the flashes that Jameis Winston's had. I know there's been a lot of dropped interceptions, but then again, would you rather have a guy that's more passive, that doesn't want to take the shots downfield, that doesn't want to try to get those explosive plays? Because honestly, that's what it takes, right? Like Joe Flacco, he was letting the ball loose all over the field, and Browns fans just sort of came accustomed to like, he's going to throw a couple picks, but he's also going to throw a couple 60-yard touchdowns during the course of the game. So that was really what it came down to. So we'll see once the offseason hits. Yeah, certainly something to monitor. And of course, something that they, go over with each player is like, okay, this guy's decision-making, this guy turns the ball over more so than this. So it's obviously a big factor in this whole thing. But yeah, we'll see once the offseason hits. But again, see how Jameis plays the rest of the season.
What has happened to our special teams? And like, Hopkins missing kicks, Noah, I never put that on a coach. I go back to years ago when Cade York was struggling, sat in his locker, and I talked to him, and he said, no offense, I know more about kicking than Mike Prefer, okay? And he can coach me up, but it's on my job to make the kicks. I don't put the kicks on Ventrone. I put the punt coverage on Bubba Ventrone. I put on just this whole season where, yeah, I get he was a former player here, pretty highly regarded around the season. No, I'm about ready to say about one and done here with Bubba Ventrone, which I hate saying. I know Schwartz is coming under some fire for that defense. I want to ask you about the effort thing with Juan Thornhill in a second. But Noah, what's your vibe here with the special teams and the defense? Do you think there's a world that they have to – could you see a world – I guess the real question is this, that the ultimatum is made that if Kevin Stefanski sticks around, that he has to get rid of some of these coaches, right?
That's absolutely a possibility. And if they continue to have these sort of special team woes, then I mean, it's impossible to rule that out. Like a lot of the coverages like that is just totally unacceptable. But that's why they're not winning any games, because they can't play a complementary game of football. They can't have the offense. They can't have a Jameis game where he's throwing almost 400 yards, no interceptions. They can't have that game alongside with the defense playing well and the special teams converting on their opportunities. But yeah, I think obviously kicking's a lot of between the ears. It really is. And I mean, it's hard. You look at Justin Tucker, right? Like
it's washed. McPherson.
It's been a crazy season with kickers. And the really only thing that for Cleveland to do, especially, Kevin Stefanski, is have confidence in Dustin. He knows that he can do it. But again, like kicking is the hardest part about kicking. And I've talked to several kickers in my time of covering Cleveland sports, that the hardest part about kicking is not the actual kicking. It's making sure you're strong between the ears. You're making sure you have a strong mindset, because once one kick goes, that's in your head during the next kick. And you don't want, like, what if I miss this kick? Like it's a mind game. So hopefully for them, Dustin can get back, and he's veteran enough that have already established sort of his mental toughness that he's going to be able to bounce back. And that's really all the Browns can do, because they just gave him a lot of money. They know he can make these kicks. You look at last year, how dominant he was and how big and crucial he was for the team. So it's a lot of between the ears, and it's really a big mental game. But for them, hopefully he's going to be able to pull through and start to put some through the uprights.
Was Juan Thornhill jogging? The hell was that? No. I mean, people say, oh, he's nursing an injury. Maybe he shouldn't be out. Then when Stefanski goes, well, we're going to play Ronnie Hickman a little bit more, and now that he's healthy, we kind of like him in there. Ryan has been one of the biggest ones trying to tell me, I guess I just don't listen, no, about Juan Thornhill wasn't meant to come here, and there's people telling me from KC, like, good, we were not happy or not unhappy to see him leave. Like, I hate saying that kind of crap, man. It looked like he was jogging. He's got to go.
I call him John Johnson the fourth.
John Johnson the fourth, right? Like, he got to go, man. Do you think he was jogging on that? What do you make of the Juan Thornhill effort thing?
I just think the effort all around needs to be better. I wouldn't even point specifically to him. The missed tackles are totally inexcusable, and it just looks like a team where, like I said, if you keep losing games, like this locker room is going to be lost. Like everything's going to go downhill and really fast, as if it isn't already. I guess the next worst thing is for something to fall off the roof of Cleveland Browns Stadium, like at AT&T Stadium.
Did you see the Texans body bag them on social media where they're like, look out below with the L? It was so good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But the effort it's not where it needs to be. And I imagine it's really hard for a coach to, get this effort out of players during a season like this, where your expectations were so high going in, and you're just so below where those expectations are. But the effort needs to be better. The tackles need to be better. It looked to me off the naked eye like those guys could have been sprinting to try to do something. I mean, it's just all around not a good situation. So it's unfair almost to point at Juan Thornhill and say, you're the one not giving effort, because they're missing tackles all across the board. And honestly, the effort has just been unacceptable. And they need to figure it out. And I think winning is really the only thing that cures that at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. All right, no, we don't usually get to do this to you because you're on Wednesdays. We got the game tomorrow. Little game prediction. How do you think it goes tomorrow night?
Oh, I just gave we do a game prediction every game for the OBR. No. I don't remember what
Are you sure?
Put.
All right.
That's the biggest problem is I make a prediction and then I get asked again what that prediction was and I have no idea. So I just come up with something else. I hate predictions because I'm always wrong on them.
Yeah.
So
if you saw my betting slips, Noah, you know that you and I are in the same boat on that.
Yeah. I think I took somewhere around the 28-14 Pittsburgh tomorrow. I just don't think that I can't pick Cleveland to win a game until I see it. So I won't be picking Cleveland until they give me some sort of promise that they're capable of competing, especially with a Pittsburgh team. Now, I did see the stat that Mike Tomlin's 0-7 on Thursday night games in the division or something like that, something crazy. So everyone is saying, well, Cleveland's they're going to win. So
some of our biggest wins against Pittsburgh seem to come on Thursday night. You know, I go back to way back in the day. That game we sacked Ben like 7 times and it was snowy and stuff. It's supposed to be crappy weather tomorrow night. I guess that kind of works out. It seems like a real Browns-Steelers type of Thursday night game, and maybe it goes their way. But I get it. The way the Browns are at right now, they're not really able to run the football that well. And Pittsburgh, I guess you would say emotional letdown after that Ravens game, but no, I think they're just laser-focused back on in to get things not back on track. It's that they're on track. They're a steam engine right now, and ain't nobody going to stop them.
And the thing, it looks like to me, at least the past couple of weeks, their rushing attack is Najee Harris had like a stretch where he was like really dominant. He was getting a lot of yards on his carries. I think that was really a big struggle for him, especially early on, was like the yards per carry were not there, but he was dominant for a period. Now it looks like he slowed down a little bit. So I guess if Cleveland can really contain that and stop the run completely, if the weather is that bad and there's not a lot of throws, then maybe they have a chance, but I'm not picking Cleveland. The Steelers, it's really impressive how they can win games in all these different, they can beat you in a shootout and they can beat you in a 12-7, 5 field goal game. So, and they do honestly have one of the best kickers in football in Chris Boswell at this point, especially with Justin Tucker's struggles. So yeah, I'm picking Pittsburgh probably by a couple scores.
I think they should give Jalen Warren some more carries, to be honest with you there, but not tomorrow night. No, really appreciate it. We'll be reading at the OBR Browns with Noah. I thought you had something. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Noah, Buckeyes on upset alert this week, and also what's going on with McLaughlin? I see
such
tweets,
bad news.
Something he tore his Achilles, but I haven't seen anybody an official account confirm it.
Yeah, he's gonna miss the rest of the season. It looks like after suffering an Achilles injury in practice yesterday. Super unfortunate. Like just devastating. He was there. Heart and soul of not only that offense, but that offensive line. He was calling stuff out at the line for Will Howard. Like the two of them had great chemistry. They came in and actually had their visit together parts of their visit was together when they decided to both transfer. I actually did a story on Will Howard and Seth McLaughlin for the Lantern. I sat down with both of them individually to talk about the Michigan game, which will be coming out at some point in the next couple of days for our rivalry edition. So
nice.
Yeah, it's very disappointing for him. Upset alert. I'm not picking Indiana. I can't do it yet. I get with this injury, it makes it a little tougher. I think it would make it way tougher if it was on the road. I think it'll be the most interesting piece of this. We'll see who they plug in at center. If they go move Hinsman back to center and plug in a Saraveld at guard, or if they pull someone else and just make someone else the center. So we'll see, but definitely devastating. And having lost 2 of their best linemen to season enders, it's really not good for them.
Not ideal. Appreciate it, Noah. And Browns with Noah, Twitter, Instagram, OBR, Lantern, all of it. Excited for that piece coming up for Ohio State, Michigan, which is already next week. We'll talk to you about it next week. Appreciate you, Noah.
Yep, thank you, guys.
There he goes. Noah Weisskopf, great stuff. I always forget to ask him about Ohio State. I always do. It's a good call, Ryan, on that. All right, we got to go quick here. You want to run through you want to piecemeal through time hop just real quick?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Browns fall to the Bills this day, 2022. That game was the game they played in Detroit because all the snow in Buffalo. Jacoby Brissett threw 3 touchdown passes. We still lose. Colin Sexton announced that he'd have to have season-ending surgery on his knee this day, 2021. He would never play for the Cavs again. This day, 1982. Cal Stanford. If I said that, Ryan, what would you think of?
Harbaugh?
The band is on the field.
Nope.
You don't know what that is?
Nope.
You really don't know what the band on the field is?
Nope.
This day, 1982, Cal, Stanford. Stanford kicks off. They're up. They're winning the game. They kick off. They flip it like Cal to return it. The guy's running into the end zone, and Stanford's band comes out onto the field thinking they won the game. And he's trucking over tuba players into the end zone.
That's awesome.
I can't believe you've never seen the band is on the field.
No, I haven't.
Google that after the show. This day, 1982. This day, 1947, Queen Elizabeth marries King Philip. This day, 1923, Garrett Morgan was granted the patent for what?
Garrett Morgan?
Garrett Morgan, Cleveland's own.
The streetlight?
That is correct. The three-position streetlight patented this day, 1928. This day, 1820. The American whaling ship, the Essex, was struck and sunk by a bull sperm whale, giving the inspiration for what novel?
Moby Dick?
That is correct. That is correct. This day, 1820. Very happy birthday goes out to Carlos Boozer, Joe Biden, Future, and Dierks Bentley, all celebrating birthdays today. All right, quickly, 3 movies ready to go.
Yep.
This day, 2009, a sports movie
Dodgeball.
based on a true story.
Rudy.
No. That has actually came back up in the news over the last couple of years.
Remember the Titans?
No.
Bad News Bears.
Nope.
Miracle.
No.
Mighty Ducks.
Nope. Wrong sport.
League of Their Own.
Nope. Wrong sport.
Nope. So it's football.
Yeah.
Little Giants.
It's back in the news because the guy that was featured in this was an NFL player, and then he came out and he was suing the people. And,
The Blind Side.
Blind Side is correct. 2009. I don't know if you're going to get this one. This day, 2002, Pierce Brosnan makes his first appearance as James Bond. I would not have gotten this.
I don't know.
Die Another Day. I am not into James Bond. All right, final one. This day, 1992.
Okay.
Another Christmas type of film.
Okay.
That is a sequel. And it's one of the rare ones that I think both the original
Die Hard 2.
and the sequel, good pull, but no, are as beloved as one or the other. Like the first one was amazing. The second one is just as good. They made a bunch of sequels after that were just trash.
The Santa Claus.
No. Has to do with a kid.
Not Christmas Story.
No. It does.
Oh,
but
Home Alone.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, is this day.
Is that the one with Donnie?
Which one with what?
With Donnie Trump?
Yeah. He walks by because he actually owned the. God, what was the name of the hotel? Whatever it was. You know, oh my God. I saw it. I went and saw it when I was in New York. Home Alone 2. God, what was the hotel? The Plaza. That's it.
Oh.
The Plaza. The Plaza Hotel. That's it. I went and saw it. I didn't go in it. But I saw it. So Home Alone 2 is good. Good. All right, Cavs! There is no reason that they should lose this game tonight. I don't know by 13, but here comes New Orleans. All right, here's your play for tonight. The over-under is set at 221.5. No C.J. McCollum, no DeJounte Murray, no Zion Williamson. Jose Alvarado is now out, and so is Herb Jones. In their last games, New Orleans has put up 91, 99, 101, 88, 105, and 88 points. They cannot score. And in fact, their last game that they even put up 120 was against us. I love the under for tonight. It's at 221. Grab it now. I think it's combo. Cavs will win, but I think they might be a little tired, and there is in no God way that the Pelicans can score at all. So I actually really like the under. Maybe an alt, I like him at like 6.5.
Okay.
Alt 6.5, under the 221. You could probably, if you want to combo and parlay that, maybe you boost yourself up 225 under Cavs -6. That'll probably get you about even money.
Sounds good to
I
me.
like that for tonight. We'll see. Have to see who plays out. I would imagine everybody's good to go for the Cavs, but we'll see how it goes tonight as they'll finish it on out. All right, speaking of finishing out, groups 3 and 4.
Yes.
Butt rock.
Well, first of all, Group 1 winner, Creed.
Yeah, of course.
Group 2 winner, Nickelback.
We just needed them to meet in the finals. They're going to.
Now, the Shadester says, Nickelback, I like Nickelback, but Breaking Benjamin is light years better. Now, you're going to have a little beef with this one, he said. So are people just voting for the most known bands? Because Creed sucks compared to those other bands.
That's the whole point of butt rock. Everybody makes fun of them because they suck. That's fine. I mean, I'm seeing Creed on Friday. That's the whole reason we brought it up. All right, groups 3 and 4.
Group 3, Puddle of Mud, Seether,
so good.
Hoobastank, Kid Rock. Group 4.
I don't think Seether should be in this, but they are. That's fine.
Group 4, Three Doors Down, Buck Cherry, Crossfade, and Papa Roach.
Somebody texted me yesterday that Daughtry. We missed Daughtry. Daughtry might be butt
Daughtry's
rock
so
of a.
good.
Change it out. Take Seether out. I don't want to put Seether. Ah! Damn it. I feel like we have to put Daughtry in this
Yeah,
thing.
I like me some Daughtry.
All right, run through them again.
Puddle of Mud,
And-
Seether, Hoobastank, Kid Rock.
They all got
3 Doors Down, Buck Cherry, Crossfade, Papa Roach.
You want to take Papa Roach out?
I don't care.
Put Daughtry in for either Papa Roach or Seether. I'll leave it up to you. Either one of those. But I think Daughtry is prime butt rock. Actually, it was my brother's girlfriend. She texted me and she goes, "There's actually a playlist. It's just called Divorced Dad Rock."
Yeah.
Same thing. Butt rock, divorced dad rock, all that. It's all the same. And Daughtry was right on there. So I feel like they had to make it there. So we'll change that out. We'll be good to go. All right. Appreciate everybody joining us today. We're back tomorrow, 9 a.m. We'll get you ready to go for the Browns and the Steelers. Oh, breaking news, by the way. Dan Gilbert has launched a formal bid to get a WNBA team in town.
Nice.
And we haven't mentioned Stephen Vogt.
Oh, yeah.
Manager of the year.
That's right. How did I not put that in the
Congratulations.
update? That's on me.
That's all good. So congratulations to him. And Dan Gilbert making the push for a WNBA team, bringing the Rockers back. I love it very much. All right, go get it tonight, Cavs. Back tomorrow for a little Thursday night football action. Drennan tonight, bonus time. Make sure you check it out. Big Play app. Twitter, we're at Matt Fontana Show, but you can always check out the Big Play Twitter. We're up on YouTube, Instagram. Download the Big Play app. And thank you to our friends at Fairway Ford. We love you very much. Back tomorrow. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.